Hey everyone, I'm Mike Juliff, Twin Cities Realtor and real estate investor. Today I'm walking you through a real analysis. Can 808 West 28th Street in Minneapolis realistically work as an Airbnb? I'll show you the numbers, the challenges, and what I would recommend if I were to purchase this property as a short-term rental. Let's check it out. 808 West 28th Street is a 1,900 square foot single family home listed at $450,000. The significant benefit of this property is that it has already been furnished and used as an Airbnb by the current owner. Your startup costs should be minimal because we will likely be able to negotiate the current furniture into the purchase agreement. We will also have some real investment performance data to look at specific to this property, which we will get into later. This property has 4 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms, which is excellent for families or group travel. There's a full dining area, multiple living areas, and a well-stocked kitchen. The key to running a short-term rental is standing out from the competition. This property does that in a couple of different ways. Number one, it is a larger property which will separate it from other 1 or 2 bedroom listings where there is a lot of competition. Number two, the space is really nice. Very professional updates and modern touches. Number three, the location is great for people that want to be near downtown Minneapolis and all of the great things to do in Uptown Minneapolis as well, such as walk to the World Street Kitchen, Uptown, Bryant Lake Bowl, Moto Eye, and other popular spots on Lake Street. They're also a short drive to Quang Restaurant and East Street Crossing, a couple of my favorite spots in the area. This place looks amazing, but the real question is, does the math support this as a short-term rental? All right, we're going to head over to a website called awning.com. It has a free short-term rental estimation tool. You just have to create a user profile to use their site. You can type in the address of the property you want to run an analysis for. It will ask you a few questions about the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and some specific amenities, and we're going to fill that out and hit the estimate button. On the left-hand side, it's going to give us a revenue estimate based on data from short-term rentals nearby. You were also able to zoom in and select an individual property. We're going to see there's an existing data point for this property, so let's check that out. Their data indicates the income potential is even higher than the averages suggested on the left-hand side. Over $100K gross income with an average daily rate around $300, occupancy at 94%. We can even go click to see the actual Airbnb listing, so let's do that. Reviews are excellent as well, 4.9 stars. Now we can see exactly what they did to market the property. There are a lot of tools out there like AirDNA that are paid and probably have a little more data to work with, but this will give you a great idea with a free tool. We're going to take this data and plug it into our spreadsheet in a minute to see how things look financially. In Minneapolis, you're only allowed 1 short-term rental unit per owner. You are also required to obtain a specific short-term rental license from the city, which can come with some hoops to jump through. With the owners already getting this property licensed, that should be pretty straightforward and is another big benefit of buying this specific property. Because it's a 4-bedroom home, this property will outperform the Minneapolis average for short-term rentals. But we need to look at the expenses to understand the investment return and profit. Running the numbers is the most important part of investing. I have a spreadsheet that I've built to help quickly visualize if things are going to cash flow and how much. I have the values input that we found on Awning for the 808 West 28th property. I'm using the actual data and not the estimate, which was slightly more conservative. Average nightly rate we're going to set at $302. Occupancy 94% of the month or 28 days. I'm adding in a few fees we're going to pass along to the guests, including a 3% Airbnb fee and a cleaning fee. On the expense side, we want to include the mortgage, property taxes, insurance, utilities, cleaning, supplies, internet, snow and lawn care, licensing, and some contingencies for repairs and capital expenditures. I did assume that the person purchasing this property is not hiring a property manager, so we are not accounting for any cost for that. Ignore the mouse cursor at this point, but let's hop to the next column to the right. I have the purchase price plugged in with a 20% down payment, 30-year loan term, 6.5% interest rate, which are what investment terms are looking like right now. You could potentially purchase this as a second home, depending on what your lender allows, which could improve the deal terms a little bit. Either way, we're looking at a whopping 45% cash-on-cash return, $40,000 a year in income, meaning you would have your invested money back in your pocket in 2 years, and everything after that is gravy. We're not assuming any furnishing costs because we think we can get that included in the offer. It's better for the seller anyway not to have to move that stuff. The only thing we aren't really showing on this spreadsheet is the tax benefit that you would see on top of the cash flow, which would be a significant benefit on its own. I will do some quick math to give you an understanding of what that could look like. Typically, we see 20 to 30% of the value of the property coming back in the form of a tax credit in year one. For this property, that would be $90,000 on the low side. That is a $90,000 tax deduction, meaning you could avoid paying taxes on $90,000 of your earned income by using short-term rentals as an investment tool. You're going to need that because you have $40K of income to offset on this property alone, but you can start to see how powerful this can truly be. A couple of the challenges for this specific property include that Minneapolis regulations for short-term rentals are pretty strict compared to some other cities in the area. There's also going to be some occupancy volatility, especially in the winter in Minnesota, and could be slightly more exaggerated for a larger property such as this one. There are going to be higher cleaning and turnover costs because it is a larger home, and in addition to that, there's also a risk of parties because it is a bigger space. The income projections for this property look really good, but why would the owner be selling? There may be a recent drop-off in revenue due to more competition since the owner purchased this property originally in 2019. They may have had a couple poor experiences with guests, or maybe they just don't have the time to manage the property anymore. Either way, there's an opportunity here for someone to improve on what this current owner has started. There are a lot of great things I noticed while walking through this home. The owner has put together an excellent guest book with a lot of information about the property, things to do in the area, and helpful tips. I noticed a lot of thoughtful features throughout this home as well. They have good signage so that you know as a guest where things are. They have cute decorations, and they've gone above and beyond in a lot of different areas. However, I do see an opportunity for more creativity with some of the features in the home, such as furnishing and decor to be updated. They could improve the photos, description, and guest resources online, as well as the marketing. Marketing can always be improved. There's different things you can do to get your property to stand out more online. 808 West 28th Street looks like a solid investment option as a short-term rental. It really helps that you will be able to reduce your startup costs, which can range between $10,000 and $20,000 or more, depending if you need to do any work on the home. Startup costs include the cost of furnishing, supplies, professional photos, and licensing the home, which all need to take place prior to booking any guests. Most of those items are already taken care of for you in this situation. Short-term rentals are an amazing purchase, not just for the cash flow, but for the potential tax benefits for those with high income to reduce their taxable income through the short-term rental tax loophole. If you want to learn more about how short-term rentals can improve your financial situation, check out my video on the benefits of owning short-term rentals. The link is in the description. If you want a full analysis to help you purchase your first or next short-term rental, including property-specific revenue projections, startup guidance, and a financial scenario, reach out to me. I help people purchase and sell short-term rentals in the Twin Cities.